So Luka's back in the MVP race, and this time in a serious way. I wanted to talk about this. I know that Victor Wembanyama had his crazy 40 and 20 game. I know that we've seen a lot of things now, but I wanted to talk about this new Luka thing because it's really impressive. An update on the standings. The Rockets have not lost their win streak yet. The Warriors have gone on a win streak themselves, and they're still competing. I wanted to follow that up because it was one of the more interesting stories that I had spoken on recently. But I do want to speak on this Luka Doncic MVP race as it pertained to the videos that I've been making about the MVP race in the league. I've always said it. The MVP race is a sacred thing each year. I believe that having an MVP and not having one can be the difference between you being remembered all time and not being remembered. Like a lot of the guys we don't speak on today from the past, it's because they don't win an MVP or they don't win a championship. And I do believe that those two things put you a tier above everybody else. So the MVP award, that's a lot of the reason why you've seen guys like Dirk be talked about a lot, KG, and why these guys get hailed so much is because they won the MVP, they won the championship, and the MVP is one of the awards which actually puts up your tier as an all-time player greatly. This season, Luka's been on fire, and we know this because he's just been on a tear. He looks skinny all year, he's been popping off. There's nobody in the league who could really guard him. And he's been coming at people's necks differently this season, just completely tearing everybody apart. And it's been really wonderful to see how he's been able to lift his team. He's averaging around a 34-point triple-double. It's not an actual triple-double, but it's like 9 point something for both statistics. And he's been doing that meanwhile playing most of the games this season. So when we look at a guy like Luka, what we have to say is, why would he be the MVP? And why would he get it over other guys like Jokic or Shea? In my opinion, the real big race is between Luka, Jokic, and Shea. Luka obviously is one of the greatest players this league has ever seen. He is consistently putting up numbers, consistently being one of the best players in the league, and has made himself a threat in every single way possible. Really being the best player when it comes to, since Russell Westbrook, when it comes to producing statistics for his team. When we look at him in hindsight, we could see that he has not played around, right, and has consistently been a guy which has put the best foot forward and has never really backed down from a challenge. And Luka, since, like I said, Russell Westbrook, has consistently put himself out there as just the main guy for his team. He consistently carries them every single day. He puts himself in situations to win, and he is clutch, he's good, he puts up his statistics, and he definitely does not back down from anything. So now, a lot of people may ask, so if his statistics are great, if he's clutch, if his team is good, then why isn't he just the unanimous MVP? And the reason why is because his team has not always been the team to beat, right? And what I mean by that is that, like, his team has been trash for moments of the season. They've been great for others, and they're one of the most shaky teams in the league in the current moment if we really talk about it. Right now, they've gone on a huge win streak and they've paraded back from being down. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games with a 6-game win streak. They got above a 500 win percentage and they now have a 600. And they have consistently beat the best teams in the West, or at least teams in the West, to make sure that they can have this standing which they have right now. They beat the Kings, the Jazz twice, the Spurs, the Nuggets. They beat the Warriors, and they've really put themselves out there and said we want to win every game. The only team that they didn't get to beat was the Thunder. A big reason as to why they've climbed back is mostly due to their center core, because Derek Lively and Uh, Daniel Gafford have had monumental seasons in terms of efficiency with Luka Doncic as their main point guard. Daniel Gafford, since arriving in Dallas, has just been insane. He's shooting the highest field goal percentage of his career. He's grabbing like the most rebounds per minute that he's ever grabbed. And apart from all of this, he's getting a block. No, he's getting 2 blocks and a steal per game. He doesn't turn the ball over, and most of his possessions are around the rim. Derek Lively, the rookie, has been consistently either coming off the bench or playing off of Daniel Gafford, and has really made it hard for other teams to really mess with the Dallas Mavericks, as since they now have 2 different guys who could rebound, who could actually get around the rim, who could catch a lob, and who could do all that. They've been entrusted with really taking this team up. Derek Lively, on the other hand, is playing around the same amount of minutes as Daniel Gafford, and he's shooting 75% from the field, grabbing 7 rebounds, an assist, a block and a half, steal, 9 points, and they're basically 1-1 when it comes to the way that they're playing. Both of those guys have been the revolutionaries of what is, Dallas basketball, as when they were not there, it looked very bad for the Dallas Mavericks since their center core was their weakest link. Their strongest link, on the other hand, is their guards. And Luka and Kyrie are just incredible. Honestly, I don't even have to explain to you how good they've been. But Kyrie, especially this season, is doing exactly what he did last season again. But now he's been able to do it with more consistency in Dallas. As we know, Kyrie in Dallas has been very happy. He signed his extension. It's a team that he obviously likes. And this season, he's averaging 25 on basically 50, 40, 90. Meanwhile, having 5 assists, a steal, and 1.7 turnovers, which is impressive for a guy which is playing 35 minutes a game. He's been really the complementary piece, and we've seen some of the highlights that he has at the end of games. That floater with his left hand was insane to beat Denver. Then they had other highlights of him in crunch time hitting threes, taking over games, and he's just been one of the players which has put the team on his back as much as Luka has too, and has made it so that both of them, and he has made it so that Luka doesn't have to play this hog ball all the time, and so that Luka can actually just play his play style and make sure that they're gonna win. Luka, obviously, is having the best season of his career. He's leading the league in scoring since Embiid is obviously not here to have any influence on that. As we know, Embiid was averaging 35, but since his injury and since he only played 34 games, and he's not eligible, so Luka's going to lead the league in scoring basically with 33.8 points, as he only has, I think, 1 more game until he actually played the number of games that he needs to play. He's going to lead the league, or he's going to be top 3 in assists probably, as he's averaging 9.8 assists per game, and he's averaging 9.1 rebounds. Luka is doing everything. He's a little worse from the field because of the amount of shots that he's taking, but his 3-point percentage is way up from other seasons. His free throw percentage has also gotten significantly better than last season. And on top of all of this, his turnovers have only slightly increased and have gotten much better than what his career averages are before that. So Luka has basically placed it all together. He's put everything that was, him, and he's put it together as he's averaging his most box score numbers, the least amount of turnovers for this many assists that he's had. And plus all of this, he is putting himself in the position of carrier. And he's making sure that whether or not the Dallas Mavericks are feeling good that day, or whether or not they have, and the odds for them, Luka is making sure that the Dallas Mavericks are going to win enough games to be in the playoffs comfortably, and he's just put the MVP case right now for himself very lightly. So the reason why now he's climbed to 2 over Shea is, apart from the fact that the Thunder are tied for the first seed with the Timberwolves, the other reason why is because Luka is the 6th seed now. Before he was in the play-in, and they're never going to give an award to a play-in team. And having Luka be the 6th seed is like a Russell Westbrook in OKC, where it's like this guy is so phenomenal and he's doing so much with the team, which is not supposed to be in the position that they're in, that giving them the MVP is only right, as they are the most valuable player. Obviously, Jokic is the favorite right now because he's just like the default MVP. He's going to play the amount of games and he's going to do that. But when it comes to who's the actual MVP, I think it's Luka Doncic.